the prepper's fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, around the fire every night. Oh, 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 oh.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Preppers Fireside. And tonight I'm joined by a panel of guests, starting with Barry, the brown coat prepper. How you doing, Barry?
Very well, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us back again.
No problems. It's always a pleasure. And no, your eyes don't deceive you. Brian did not get younger and better looking. That is Steve, Rift Security. How you doing, Steve?
I am here just to fill in for Brian. I promise I'll demonetize you within 30 seconds.
I haven't monetized as per usual. We don't want to restrict you guys. And joined from overseas from one of our friends across the pond, Chef Tech. How you doing, Chef?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. You can call me Mark. That's fine.
Everybody
knows who I am at this point anyway. Only if you've seen my face. I'm just your happy-go-lucky raccoon chef, ruining all the food in the kitchen.
There you go, Mark the Raccoon Chef. There we go. It's got a nice. It sounds like a kids' TV program, doesn't it? It's great. Great to see so many people in the chat. Lots of green names in there from the members. Also, Evil Girl, Miss Worm in there moderating, keeping you all in check. Play nice. Play by YouTube's rules. I'm not monetized. I don't care what you say, but don't incriminate yourself in any way, please, in the chat. Okay? Don't be foolish to think nobody's watching. Right. With that said, let's get demonetized in the first sentence. COVID-19. There you go. It's all gone. There you go. Pennies all over. It's one of those things that you can't really talk about much, or people think you can't talk about much on YouTube because you do get demonetized, but we're not monetized anyway, so we are going to talk about it. And it's the COVID inquiry that's come out in this country that is completely useless, that just tells us all what we already knew, and it's completely back and forth and a load of crap. So, with that in mind, Steve on the not Steve, another Steve on the is it Steve S on the Discord that suggested this as a topic? That's not you, Steve, is it? You got about 6 accounts on Discord.
I've only got one now. I don't know what happened here. It all went a bit wonky when I went on holiday. I'm teaching to go on holiday.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, so he suggested this topic, so we're going to talk about it and lessons learned in that. So I'll go around the table first and we'll talk about shortages, because we briefly had a chat in the green room about how ridiculous the toilet paper wars were and stuff like that. So I want to ask you, we'll start with you, Barry, go around the table. What were the most surprising shortages for you? Like, maybe not necessarily toilet roll and the obvious stuff that's a big shop face on it, but what were the most surprising shortages for you?
To be honest, I can't actually say as I noticed any kind of shortages around by where I live, other than the lack of enthusiasm by people to obey, the narrative. Yeah, I mean, like you could walk into any of the local supermarkets around here, and yes, you got the queues outside, etc., stuff like that. But once you got inside, most of the shelves around here seem to be fully stocked. Didn't see any shortages as such. So
interesting. Wasn't like that near me, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, other than sort of like maybe hand sanitizer, that was probably the only thing I can say. But I mean, I got access to gallons of the bloody stuff, so it doesn't matter. So
you won't ask what industry that's in. Sanitizer and lube. Barry's your man. Chef Tech, in the States, what kind of shortages did you guys see over there, or where you were, if any?
Well, first it was the TP, then it was the paper towels, then it was the paper napkins, because everybody knew it's some kind of a paper you can use because, there's going to be a shortage. Well, we created our own shortage. That was the bottom line of that. And people are told that it's going to be a shortage, so they go out and buy stuff. Then we had a shortage on certain animal medications. Remember that one? And then it was banned. You couldn't buy. You needed like a note from your veterinarian at the local farm supply to buy it. Not that I went down that road. And but it's like anything they told you on TV doesn't help you or won't work or is going to be a shortage, people just ran out and bought it. So, but meanwhile, the liquor stores were open because, you know, you can't buy seeds. We couldn't buy seeds. There wasn't really a shortage. They just wouldn't let you buy them. Garden supplies. It was the weirdest thing. They blocked it off.
Non-essential.
Yeah, non-essential, but you could still go to Sam's Club and Costco and all the other big club stores and that, and all the supermarkets, but all the mom and pop restaurants had to shut down. But meanwhile, you know, the big chain restaurants, they were still open for some reason. But yeah, the shortage, yeah, there was a shortage. It was a stupid shortage. I wasn't worried about it because I had a mother-in-law who was a organized hoarder for decades. And when I cleaned the house out, I must have brought home crap, no pun intended, probably 15 or 20, 36 packs of toilet paper.
Wow.
I mean, literally her garage, and I was giving it away. Even during COVID, I gave like 2 or 3 cases to every one of my kids. They're like, I don't have room for this anymore. And I was just giving it to people, friends. Like, hey, I need a case of toilet paper. Like, a case? I'm like, yeah, just take it. That should last.
Christmas is sorted in the raccoon household. You're all getting TP.
I'm still using. I walk down the basement, down the stairs into my basement. Right at the bottom of the stairs, I literally still have a wall of paper goods. Which is good because if I'm a little too late in the evening and I trip and fall down the stairs, at least I'll have a soft landing before I hit the wall.
Nice. Double usage. That's what it's all about.
First.
Yeah. Steve, did you have see shortages in the stores around near you or anything strange or peculiar?
I saw a mass shortage of common sense. But all jokes aside, I saw anything that had the word antibacterial on it were just gone. Soap had disappeared, except for the really expensive stuff at like £5 something a bar. Paracetamol, aspirin, ibuprofen, gone. Just didn't exist. I noticed all the vegan food was still on the shelf. So all the meat had gone, but all the vegan stuff was there. And I thought, ooh,
all the fake Beyond Meat stuff.
And nobody wants to eat that shit. Oh, yeah, something up with that. But those were the things that really just flew off the shelf, apart from the toilet paper. But yeah, those were the things that really stuck out to me. If I went to the supermarket, was soap and over-the-counter medications that they just disappeared. And anything that said antibacterial on it and hand sanitizer and whatever. And I just thought, yeah.
So did any of the shortages you see force you to buy or change any way you prepped for it, or did you do anything about that, or was it just a case of meh, I've got enough? Or
I had toilet paper in the house anyway, and I think probably about 2 weeks before this it really sort of leapt from China to everywhere else. I've been down to Booker's and I picked up a bunch more because I rotate, or every month changes what I buy and put away, because that's the only way I find I can have some semblance of organization. Otherwise, I just buy stuff and it's just everywhere and none of it makes sense. And picked about 50 odd rolls up because they were on a 2-for-1 and this, that, and the other. So I was doing all right, and I regularly picked up soap and toothpaste and things like this each month, and so I wasn't worried. And I said to the wife, "Look, I've still got to go to work. The bank's still taking its money. I've still got to pay bills. So I'm not, I'm self-employed. Bank of Steve is going to cover this. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
Nobody's sending me an 80% paycheck."
Yeah.
So I just sort of cracked on, just used a bit of common sense. And I think the bit that bugged me at the time was they shut the gym. That upset me a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big drinker. I have, and I'm totally dry now. I have been for almost 4 years. So the gym was my, that instead of getting blasted. And that really upset me when they shut the gym. All right, they paused everybody's membership. And I thought, oh, great. And then Boris said, ever so kindly, I'm allowed to take my dog for a walk.
But only in your
3 of them at the time. I had 3 working dogs. I'll take my dog for a walk when I want, mate.
Absolute madness, some of that. The shortages over there, Mark, were you already very well prepared for all of that? Or did you have to go out and change anything?
Yeah, no, really didn't change much. I think what it led to, I don't know if this is the next topic, but I mean, Utah Mike mentioned it, and I totally forgot. Yeah, there was a huge shortage of canning supplies over here because now everybody's home, and now everybody's looking for something to do, and now everybody's on YouTube and TikTok, and now they're like, I'm going to learn how to can. So all the canners were sold out for like All American and Presto and all. They were just sold out, and all the jars in the stores and Amazon, nobody had it. They were on back order. And meanwhile, my wife's like, I don't think you need any canning supplies. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, I got 4 canners and probably 3,000 empty jars right now. So I'm not in any particular hurry, but I did go out and buy a freeze dryer. And I bought property. So might as well.
That's the ultimate preps right there. Barry, did you change anything, or you didn't see any shortages? So did you just carry on, or did you preempt possible shortages by buying more at the time?
No, we just sort of carried on as regular. Just kept rotating the stock, kept buying what we needed to as and when. We didn't feel the need to sort of have to go out and up the level of preps, etc. Like I say, it didn't really. It's strange because I mean I hear about all these people who say like how it's affected them, etc. And the only way that I can see that it actually affected me was actually when I caught the bloody virus itself and ended up getting isolated by my works from my wife for a few days until they were absolutely sure whether I got it or not.
No. I never caught it through the whole time. It was
the wife actually thinks I might have had it a second time, but with less symptoms. But I just think it was a cold. So,
yeah, that's what it was for most people, right? It was just the sniffles. It's just
bad flu. Yeah.
Did you have any masks or any respiratory preps before COVID, Barry?
Yeah,
you did.
I'd already got respirator. Yeah, I've got access to loads of those. Yeah, I'd already got them in place. I mean, I didn't even have to sort of like up the quantities that I needed to cover this time period.
This is how you wear one of these masks, according to the guy on the Tesco front door telling me to put a mask on before I enter the store. This is how you wear it.
Yes, so you don't drool on your pants. Yep.
I still see people walking the streets now.
Oh yeah,
with those masks on as well.
Same here. Usually it's the older people. A lot of them.
Yeah.
But my mom had I'd go visit her every single February. She passed in 20. Imagine that. After all her friends talked her into something, but her car on the turn signal stick on the side of the steering column must have had 100 masks hanging there. She would put a new one on and hang it there, and I got in her car. I was like, "Can I throw these out?" No. I'm like, "Why? You have like 10 boxes of them here. You're not going to run out anytime soon." Well, just in case. I'm like, okay, so these things are in your car, absorbing all the dirt and crud up in Maine, driving around with the windows open with the dirt, the dust, and the pollen and that, and you're going to run out of masks. Okay, sure.
But this is it. I mean, my stepsister was a nurse on a COVID ward. She got separated from her family completely, had to live in her own garage for a period of time while she was doing all that. And she had she sent me a picture. She looked like Darth Vader sort of thing with the full outfit, the lot. And she said to me, don't wear it unless you absolutely have to, just to go in a shop and come out again, take it off.
That's all I did.
Because you're breathing in.
That part, we started wearing bandanas.
It's causing more.
Bandana around my neck. And if I had to go into somewhere, I would just pull it up over my nose. It didn't do anything. I could still breathe fine. But I had to wash that thing every day because it was nasty after I put it over my face.
Yeah. These are designed for minutes of use. In surgeries, doctors are swapped out on doctors after so many minutes of use. So wearing them all day and then you're wearing the same one throughout a week is just absolutely pointless, and you're doing yourself more harm than good. And that was the advice she gave me, and she's on the front line, so I just took that. Steve, did you have any masks or anything before it all started, or any respiration stuff?
Initially, I didn't. And a couple of weeks before it really sort of went crazy, I got asked if I wanted to cover an insolvency job on a massive factory. And I thought, yeah, some easy money. I'm sitting there eating a sandwich and scratching my nose all night, same as the dog. And the guy said, you can have whatever you want out of it. Everything is sold go and have a look around, have whatever you want. I was gutted because there was 12 E-type Jags in there, and I could not get one started. And then there was pallets of N95 masks. I mean, there's pallets and pallets and pallets of them, and then pallets of massive candles like size. And I thought, oh, sometimes I play in a garage with MDF and end up coughing my guts up. I'll have a couple of boxes of these masks. 3 weeks later, people were asking for stupid money from them. And I sort of went, I'm going to hide these behind the sofa, because when people come around, they're going to go, ooh, and I'm going to have to go, no, you're not having them. They're mine. Get your money. So there was that way, but it was bonkers to me how fast these things were selling, and there were some proper sharks on the internet selling this stuff.
Oh yeah,
even just the ones like you had there, or anything, they were flying. I can't believe how many sort of dodgy eBay sellers I saw just crop up, just pumping the things out. And then you saw the amount of videos on YouTube of the factories they made in. These are not sterile environments for sterile face coverage. You know what I'm saying?
That's because they weren't sterile. They were not. Exactly.
And then I was sort of like sniffed and went, well, that's why it smells of foot fungus then. Right, we don't need that. So yeah, I didn't have tons of stuff, or like a respirator and different filters. I wasn't went down that road or anything. But I when I saw it, I thought, this doesn't make sense walking around in one of these things all day.
Yeah.
One, they're not comfortable, and they're not made to be worn all day. But I thought, there's something up here.
Yeah, it's a fine line between something that you can obviously see is about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. It's no good at all, and then being out there in a full NBC suit, right? Because it's the most deadly virus the world has ever seen. Yep. So, which obviously it was. Chef, did you have full NBC suits before all this started?
I never had, and still don't.
No.
No, but I did put up chain link fence in my backyard to keep the mosquitoes out because COVID said so.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But I mean, so going forward, then, Chef, would it not be? Sorry, Mark, I could have.
You're fine. I'm there either way.
Going forward, have you not thought of getting something like that in case there is a more deadly pandemic? Is it not made you think about that more from a prepping side of things?
Sort of, but it's not really on my radar. I'm just not on that particular page, and I don't think I'll ever be, because if it's that bad where everybody's just dropping dead, I don't think I'd want to be around and won't be anything left, and it would just be mayhem. And I mean, I can see potential of just, if that ever happened, and I say if, capital I, capital F, that should ever happen again, aside from the media telling us how deadly it is, I never saw it for myself. I never saw it with my own eyes. And I'm like, this is BS. And, different rabbit hole. We won't go on that one. But, I think we all are on the same page. But we're going to try to keep Mike from getting demonetized too bad. Steve.
I'm already demonetized. Sorry.
Shocking.
Replacement Brian.
I feel attacked. I'm not trying Brian's accent. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Let me just go. So, Barry, have you increased or added to preps for something like this to potentially happen again, or have you kind of rolled back to the basics, as it were?
I'm carrying on as normal. I've got my set levels of masks, respirators, and everything else that goes with it, sanitizer and stuff, and I'll just keep plodding along at that, regardless of whatever comes at us next.
So you do keep a supply for an event like that, then?
Always have done. Always have done.
Right. Okay. Steve, has living through it changed the way you look at masks now, and are you invested in some better ones that are not smelling like foot fungus, or?
Stood there in Screwfix, and weird things. No, I haven't. I was contracting for one company, and they sort of issued us with these cloth ones that you could wash and all the rest of it. I think they might still be in my sock drawer home. But Not because I think it's nonsense or won't, or a real one wouldn't happen and all the rest of it. I just think, well, if it's that bad, and I see the local Joe Plod doing his patrol, not that you see him up in our valley, they don't come up unless they can get a lift. And he's walking around with a respirator around the village, then I'm going to worry.
Right.
But again, it's not because I think a real one, or, when I say a real one, a really deadly thing that's wiping 7 out of 10 people, I don't think it'll happen. I just think it's a very low possibility.
So it's not a priority then. Not.
Yeah, I haven't run out and bought a secret stash of 50 boxes or a pallet of N95s, and they're stashed in my mum's attic or something, and I'm just waiting for the price.
Me neither.
I haven't bought 50 cases of 500 ml bottles of hand sanitizer and waited till they're 50 quid on eBay again.
Hand sanitizer is great because it's an awesome fire starter and a
multi-use. Yes,
I keep. My wife bought a bunch. They ran out of like the regular squirt bottles and the pump bottles, so now they're literally selling from the people who make alcohol and that. They were selling their seconds. And they were putting it in oil containers, like the black plastic oil container you get your Mobile One in. And it was in those. And I got like, my wife bought a case of them. I'm like, why? It's just rubbing. It's not even rubbing alcohol. It stinks. But she's like, well, we'll throw it out. I'm like, no, I'll bring it out to the cabin and use it for fire starter.
Yeah.
You can make an alcohol candle. I'm going to try some in one of my little mini lanterns and see what that does in the middle of nowhere because it'll probably blow up.
Yeah. At a distance. It's something I shouldn't try, probably, with my track record.
I'll try it on camera at a distance. Light it and run.
I'm going to pull up a few comments so we don't get too far behind on that. Pete said before, vegan shelf was full, lol. It's a true story. It's ruined the reduced section in my local supermarket because I go there and I'm like, oh, look at all that meat. It's not meat. Thank you, massive $9.99 super chat from Kane. Thank you very much. I seen a huge shortage of brain cells, especially when they had people banging saucepans like trained sea lions. Yes, clapping and that interesting control exercise maybe. Mark's Adventures. I'm collecting mason jars while on offer at local cheap store. There you go.
Yeah,
good stuff.
That works.
Mike, did your views go up mid 2020? They would have done if I had a channel.
Didn't know if you did or not. Yeah, that's me too, right?
I know, yeah. I was giving you a bit of anonymity there, but you
that's
just
fine. I don't mind. Not that anybody's really going to know in the future. I only have 6 followers, so I think you're one of them.
Anyone fight over anything in a shop or witness it apart from on TV? Yes, I witnessed a vicious granny fight over the last bag of elbow macaroni. That was interesting, and which ended with 2 sad-looking women in the supermarket and split pasta all over the floor as the bag fell apart between them, which was quite interesting.
Nice.
And that was in the big supermarket. Now, next to the big supermarket, there was several small shops, like bargain booze, things like that. All of them had plenty of pasta in, by the way, and plenty of toilet roll. It was only the supermarkets. Barry, did you witness any fighting in the shops?
No, nothing at all, mate. Nothing
you had no shortages. Well, I don't even know what you're doing here, Barry.
I tend to stay away from the shop. I tend to stay away from the shops if I can help it. I just don't like people. It's as simple as that, mate.
Come to the Prepper Meet and meet Barry in person. He's a social butterfly.
Yeah.
Did you see anyone actual fighting, Mark?
The only fighting was more arguments at Sam's Club and Costco with the store team about why don't you have paper goods in stock. They would get it in, limit 1 per person, 1 per trip, 1 per card, whatever. So people would go back and forth 4 or 5 times. They go out to their car, go back in, just because it's there. I need to buy it all so nobody else has any, I guess. I saw that in person at Sam's Club, but I wasn't there to get paper because I didn't need any paper. I was there watching the newer people now just stockpiling beans and rice, which that's where I asked if you saw an uptick, but you didn't have a channel. But there was a big uptick in prepper channels during 2020 because now everybody's home looking, what else? What's next? What should I do? It's like, oh, learn how to can, get beans and rice, you'll live forever. It's like, no, not really, but okay. You keep thinking that.
I mean, you could live forever. It wouldn't be the greatest diet, but not forever. Nobody's living that long. But Steve, did you witness any fighting? Did you have to do any security on?
No, so that was
foods?
somebody else's problem. I don't deal with that peasantry shit. The one job I was on, I heard it over a radio net. One of the guys was down at the closest big Tesco, and he claimed to have seen a bit of a dust up in the toilet roll aisle, to which had me talking to the dog about why are people fighting over toilet roll. And I did see a few words exchanged, raised voices at a supermarket when a guy had gone mental with his credit card, basically, and he was trying to return a lot of toilet roll. And the manager was like, right, you're going to have to wait a minute because there's 3 others in front of you that want to return 200 toilet rolls because they went mad on their credit card. The guy was just going mental. And I thought, who have you been listening to max out your credit card? What knucklehead YouTuber were you watching 3 weeks ago?
Tune out of the Canadian channels, guys.
I was just gonna say it was some Canadian channel saying, buy my super compressed freeze-dried toilet paper that if you add water, it puffs back up. Wait, if you add water to toilet paper, it falls apart. But anyway.
and you ain't wiping, and they come out about this big. You ain't wiping much with that, mate. Trust me.
Military technique. You only need 1 sheet.
Yeah. In the little corner.
I think that was when I stopped watching that individual.
That's the one.
I stopped watching that guy roughly by that time, and I thought, yeah, no, you got no common sense. But no, I didn't see any major punch-ups. And luckily, I haven't had to deal with the world of retail security for a very long time because I don't have the patience or the right personality.
Yeah, absolute lies. Absolute lies. He's such a people person. Such a people person. Grey Man Prepping said, we talked about the coming event on my live stream in November of 2019 before it got to the US. I have just retired and moved to Idaho and had to get a few essentials. 6 weeks later, the panic started. There you go. A bit of a premonition from Grey Man Prepping when it all kicked off. I saw a hospital consultant wearing it under his nose. Yes, there's this just, the masks they were magic masks. These were magic masks. You could wear it on your ear and it would stop you sneezing. No,
People just had enough after a while, didn't they? People just had enough and they thought.
So in the US, we had 6 feet, stay 6 feet apart. What did you have in the UK? 2 meters?
Yeah, 6'6", basically.
Yeah.
Well, that extra, that's why we got it more because we were closer than you guys were.
There you go, 6 inches. 6 inches, it makes a big difference, guys.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you're sitting down versus standing up in a restaurant.
Yeah, and you'd see people with the high-vis vests on saying, COVID Marshal, and he's in Greg's and he's right up somebody's ass.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it doesn't apply in Greg's. It doesn't apply in your lunch break.
It takes me back to like when it was smoking indoors and there was a Morrison's cafe that had a trestle between the smoking section and non-smoking section, a completely open wooden trestle that was only like 5 foot high. And you sat at a table here, it's here, and then the non-smokers are there. It's like, how does it know?
You saying that with the smoking, I went past the shop when it was all going on, the rest of it, and there was 2 shop girls, they're outside this shop. They got their masks on, got a puff on the go, and they go.
Well, the masks are holding.
The COVID was incinerated in the cigarette when they inhaled. You know how that
There you
works.
go.
And I remember I stood there for a second, not quite long enough to be done for being a pervert, just shy of that. And I thought, how the fuck does that work? Like, how does that work?
I need. This is the question that's not on there that we need to ask. What's the most bizarre? I need answers in the chat for this as well. What's the most bizarre occur? Because we saw clips on TV with people with a hood pulled up and a frigging glass saucepan over the face to make like a makeshift. I've seen bras.
A 5-gallon water bottle over your head. With a little electric fan on top. Okay.
What's your craziest thing you've seen, witnessed, or remember from that time? So is that yours then, Steve? Is the smoking?
I think that's the one that comes to mind instantly. Is that one? And I'm a non-smoker, I'll be honest. I tried it once as a teenager, and my father was not impressed, probably because I stole his Super King Blacks. He would have been honest if I stole my brother's, and it was not for me. But I'm looking at it, and I know you get like 90-something-year-olds that have done like 40 fags a day or whatever, but I think we all know the dangers of smoking. It's well documented. And I thought, right, so you're puffing on that stuff, but you're worried about this virus, but you stood shoulder to shoulder and you have a puff on your fags. So you're smoking this stuff that's got a bazillion chemicals in it, but this little bit of paper is going to save you from the deadliest thing on the planet. And I thought, it's time to go home now. I've been out in public again, haven't I? And I'm in pain. I'm going home. So that's the fastest one that comes to mind, anyway.
Mark, have you got any?
Only people wearing 2 or 3 of those flat masks at once because somebody on TV told them to, and a couple people wearing an N95 with the square mask underneath it, going, you can't even breathe through that. What is your? And these were all people over the age of 60.
Double bag it. Always.
I got to be careful now because I'll be 60 in about a month here. So, people over the age of 70 now. Yeah, that's it.
It's all right. You still look 10 years younger than Brian. It's fine. He's not here. I'm making the most. Barry, what's the weirdest thing you saw?
The funniest thing I've seen is somebody had actually cut the mask horizontally. They'd taped part of it to the top of the mouth and top to the bottom. So at least when they spoke, the mask went like that so they could speak.
That's good for the smokers.
Yeah.
That's going to restaurants. You could wear your mask while you're eating.
Yeah. That was the best one. That was a YouTube one. That was. Yeah. Classic.
Excellent. Some goofball got up closer to me than normal, so I farted on him. Okay. Underwear as a mask, a full gas mask. Trevor saw somebody in. Underwear as masks. just reiterating that. One guy came into the Asda that I worked in wearing a gas mask.
I have a family member that actually had a full respirator for asbestos and all that because of the job they were doing.
Yeah,
and they wore that to the store. I'm like,
I would do that, but only for comedy value, not because I thought it was.
Exactly.
Lauren said, I got told off by a woman for standing too close to my friend. We just shared a car for 2 hours, love. I met a guy on a cruise last year. He was on a cruise when lockdown hit and ended up anchored offshore for 9 weeks. See, that's real SHTF. That kind of situation, living in that kind of environment.
Yeah, but they brought him food.
Well, yeah. I mean, I bet it went from 5-star restaurant food to suddenly here's your airplane packet of mulch.
Use your daily ration. Get back in your cab, you peasant.
Got turned into the Chinese buffet with room service.
Anyone remember that guy that was wearing a plastic water bottle on his head?
That's one I just mentioned.
Yeah. 3 masks, loving that. I had to lift to check. Easier. OAP home refused to go into on the Friday. 39 died in the place by Monday. Wow. I got told off by a neighbour catching COVID because I had a cough. I told her to bugger off because I was a normal chest. It was a normal chest infection.
Yeah, but people are scared to cough and sneeze. And I mean, I do the dance with hay fever every summer, and a few times people would turn and look at me. But I also learned to harness this beautiful thing. And they soon parked at the checkout in Asda like Moses. Chuck me shit in here.
There you go. Yeah, it could work to your advantage.
The short I saw, I think it had to be 2020 when all this started erupting. It was a bunch of, I think it was in China or Japan or whatever, a bunch of people. It was nighttime, raining, big puddle in front of the bus stop. And one guy starts hacking and coughing and spits in a puddle, and then a car hit the puddle and covered everybody. And everybody, that's where it ended. I was just like, Oh, that's cold right there.
Nice.
That's perfect. See, I mean, I'm surprised natural selection didn't get more people with this thing. Now, full respect to anyone that did lose anyone. I lost friends through COVID and stuff like that. If you had existing conditions and stuff, it was genuinely a threat if you got it and stuff like that. So I'm not disrespecting that side of it at all. But yeah, it was just ridiculous, some of the rules that they came out with. My train of thought disappeared halfway through that to give you a disclaimer, so I'll come back to that in a minute. Is Barry frozen? Or has he fell asleep?
I think he's
Nope,
frozen.
we're back.
Oh, he's
There
back.
you go. He's awake.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was where were we up to there?
Who was that knucklehead on that so-called doctor on the TV? What's his name? Hillary. Hillary something. Was it
Fauci?
TV or whatever? And he was
Fauci?
telling people to go for a fucking swim in the sea with a mask on. What's his name? Dr. Hillary. That's got that. Yeah, he was telling people should wear them everywhere.
There were
Should wear them in
videos
the
of people
bathtub.
swimming wearing
Yeah,
masks.
and if
Really?
you go down a beach in the summer, you go down a beach if you live near one. If you go for a swim in the sea, you should wear a mask. And I thought, this prick's telling people to go waterboard themselves.
Yeah, basically.
Somebody pull his license or his certificate, whatever it is, because he's a knucklehead.
There was plenty of good advice, I'm sure, at the time as well. My son had long COVID, gone from being a gym rat to barely being able to walk to the local shop. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the symptoms were legit on some of them. I think what we're mocking is not the actual condition, it's the reaction to it. It's
Some of the ludicrous behavior around it, because there was some serious fear porn being pumped out, and not just
yeah.
government either.
Every news channel
I
had.
know, if I only had my channel then, I'd be 1 million subscribers by now.
Yeah, tell you, dude, a lot of channels went through the roof when that stuff hit. Every channel became a prepper, and everybody became a doomsday sayer. I tell you, it was crazy.
And how many are left? That's the question, because there's not many that's carried on with it, right? Let me get back to my notes and get us back on topic. Okay, so beyond first aid, Barry, what was the biggest medical oversight in your pre-pandemic planning, if any? So, for example, over-the-counter medications, prescription refills, medical knowledge, etc., that you didn't have prepped that you might think I'd want that for next time?
Definitely medical knowledge. I'm blessed in the fact that the other half also works in the medical services, and she's got a lot more hands-on out there in the wild experience. So knowledge on my own part, not having to rely on what do we do this, what do we do that, asking her all the time, because you never know, there might come a time when she's not about, and I still need to know those bits and pieces. But yeah, definitely a lack of knowledge at the time.
Yeah. So is it something you're working on now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Steve, same question. Many medical oversights pre-pandemic? Anything that's changed that side of things? Things you wish you had in, maybe, or?
I wish I had more tea in the house back then. There was a shortage on. Back then, I did buy into some of it in the beginning. I'll be honest.
I think we all did it initially because
right, we haven't got enough bleach in the house here and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? Because and I think that I was thinking at the time, I was thinking back to stuff I'd done in the military and that, and like, do you remember the foot and mouth stuff we had going on?
Yeah.
And you had to scrub your wellies and this and that. And I remember thinking, you know, I'm going to have to scrub my boots every time I come in the house. If I got to strip off outside and all this sort of stuff, because nobody knew if this virus stuck to money, if it stuck to clothing, how long did it last, and all this sort of thing. And initially I was like, well, I haven't got truckloads of bleach. I haven't got 17 different brushes to scrub boots and scrub down with outside and that sort of thing. So I think I've definitely brushed up on my knowledge about trying to control contagious things, being more forensically clean. Like, you know, gloves. I have to have these on me. It's not a weird kink, Brian, right? I mean, you've got people doing this. They're like, right, well, that's not forensically clean now, is it? There's special ways they put in the bags or packets to take them out, like they would if they're doing surgeries and whatnot. I brushed up more on that because I thought, well, we're touching everything, and if this thing was so deadly, well, we're touching everything, you know.
Yeah.
So I brushed up I didn't have the knowledge back then, but I've got more now. I'm not an expert, but I got a lot more. Knowledge is power. It gives you more options, and options are what you want, so you don't start, losing it. Basically, nobody likes to feel helpless, do they?
Yeah. Holy crap! Thank you, Chronicles, for a £50 super chat. That's awesome. Evening, everyone. Thank you very much. That's enough to end the stream. See ya.
He has enough to go buy some more N95s now.
That's
Bye.
I could stock up on my Professor Peppy. Mark, the same question to you surrounding medical side of things. I mean, I assume it's a no with obviously the Mrs. profession and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but is there anything
here? She still does have access to the in-house pharmacy, which is not just for the controlled stuff, but vitamins, everything. And so, yeah, she's stocked up a little bit on some of the vitamins that we normally took anyway, B complex, D, whatever the ran. And I still take them today. I always took them before. She just stocked up on that a little bit more just to keep our vitamins up. And yeah, no, there really wasn't much more. I'm still not too concerned about stuff. And she is, but she isn't. She's not on like a medical floor now where, people come in with just blood gushing out everywhere. That's the emergency room. She doesn't work there. She's working more with like people who are seeking help now, which is its own share of weird. But yeah,
makes for good bedtime stories, all right.
Oh yeah, she got some great stories when she comes home. But yeah, but I did learn a lot about. I mean, the company I work for. Can't say who. I'll get fired. But we do a lot of chemicals for institutional type stuff, hospitals and that. So I easily always had my hands on the latest, greatest disinfectant and sanitizers and that, all the stuff they literally use on the cruise ships when they get a norovirus outbreak. Our company would sell train loads of stuff to them because they would literally fill the ship up, shake it, and dump it out. And it would just kill everything. And I had that stuff. And my kids were happy I had that stuff because, they got scared into this stuff too. And I was sending and hand delivering, spray bottles of stuff to them. Even my customers were like, I'm like, I need some more of this one. They're like, yeah, you need a spray bottle? I'm like, yeah, they would let me fill a spray bottle up, slap a label on it, throw it in my truck, take it home. And that was enough to last me for, a month. I wasn't worried about it, but I had other stuff I was allowed to bring home because it's not meant for consumer use, but because I trained people on how to use it. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in my ability to manually mix it at 1 ounce per gallon to get the right concentration. Never had a problem. I mean,
not for internal use though, right? Not
don't drink it. It may look like a fruity beverage hanging on that hotel cart. Yeah, don't drink it.
Stay with you, Mark. Did the reality of the pandemic shift your perspective towards community resilience or mutual aid? You said you kind of at that point you went and got land and lived on your own. So was that shift behind that, or did you have any community side of it?
No, the reason I did the property is because my mom passed away in 20, and the money I had for that my sister and I split. She had bills to pay. She did her thing, and I didn't. So I'm like, how about property and a tractor and a container? And I built a cabin, all cash. I mean, it was all paid. It's all paid for. I don't owe anything on any of it. And that's my neighbor driving by with his little Honda Ripper car. But no, it didn't really change it because I would have done the same thing because that's what our goal was anyway. Other changes, no, my outlook on the community, it changed my outlook on now I know who's who, what's what, and how people react to things that they're told to react to.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know if you guys, if you realize what we were saying before about the trained SEALs over here. after they'd got us all to stay in our house and work if you can work but don't work, and go to work but don't go to work, and come home but if you can work from home but then don't work from home and go to work. Once they'd told us that, which was clear and obvious, then they also turned around and said, every Thursday, come out to your doorstep and open your door and clap for a minute for the NHS workers.
Yeah. All the TikTok videos of the dancing nurses and all that. Wait, I thought they were so busy with people dying there, but they all had time to do TikTok videos of and choreography. And my wife had to get in one. They're like, we're doing this. I'm sitting there going like, this is when she was on a med surge floor. I was like, you have time to do a video for the hospital as an advertisement? What are you advertising for? We got nobody here. And she never really told me whether or not the hospitals were hers was full. She was just repeating the parrot points of every hospital is full. They're all full. They're all full. I was like, what about yours? Oh, no, we have rooms. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, how come you're not full? We're just like the average city like everywhere else. How come yours isn't full? I mean, yeah, there are lots of videos out there of that too. People going into the emergency room and there's nobody there.
Well, I mean, it's administration over here when it comes to the hospitals. My missus, 9 months pregnant, was in A&E, lying in a corridor that was full of beds because there was no room. Old dear getting examined in the hallway by a doctor. So, like, dignity out the window. Now, once we'd eventually been seen, 28 hours later, we got moved up onto a ward where there was 12 empty private rooms.
Yep.
Not a soul.
No,
but they're all jammed in downstairs because this is the department they're supposed to be in. Absolute insane. Barry, did you see any? Did it shift your perspective at all about community resilience or community aid during that time?
At the time, I wasn't living where I am now, and when both my wife and myself had it, we actually got assisted by neighbours on both sides. They were really helpful, and to be honest, if you'd have looked at them, you'd have thought they'd have been the first ones to come around and rob you. But they stepped up and they helped up. And that really did actually change my mind on the local community in that location at that time. Now where I am, I'd say that level has up to several fold. I know that if something happens, there's community I can count on. And they know it vice versa. And that's a great thing. Yeah.
No, it is good. It's good. And it does open your eyes a bit. I mean, I think I mentioned before that if we hadn't gone through this, if this was just like starting to prop up now and the maps are appearing and there's like loads of dots in China and it's starting to spread out and stuff like that, Hollywood would have us believe we'd be panicking, looting, killing each other within 2 weeks. And many preppers would have us believe the same thing. Yeah. But we didn't see that, did we? We saw lots and lots and lots of obedient citizens. Would that be the same now, Steve, do you think, if it happened for a second time?
Well, we've moved since COVID, so I can only talk about where we were living at the time. And where we were living at the time, the sort of first 2 weeks, and you could tell a lot of people do what the TV tells them. First 2 weeks was all love thy neighbor. Fantastic. Gladys can't leave, so go pick up a prescription. Fantastic. I can go down to the pharmacy and get a prescription that I have no business picking up because I'm not Gladys, but I'm allowed to do it. Great. Then they were going off getting old Doris's shopping for her and this, that, and the other. Fantastic. I thought it was brilliant. After the first 2 weeks, the TV campaign changed. Bang. Start reporting people that are outside their house. And I thought, what? But Boris has said I'm allowed out of my house. Why are you grassing me up? He's been for a walk 3 times. I got 3 effing dogs, mate. And I can't walk them all the same time because I don't weigh 40 stone and I'm not Jeff Capes to hold all 3 of them back.
Yeah.
And plus, I'll go for a walk when I damn well please. Thank you very much. And you had people literally out the curtains, he's been out again. Well, I thought I was taking Doris shopping. Now I'm a villain. I'm a criminal for helping somebody. So where we lived, it shifted with whatever the TV narrative was with a lot of people in that little village.
They took everything in, right? Yeah, they took everything. There was a WhatsApp message that was going around, an audio clip of an alleged nurse saying that they were prepping ice rinks for bodies. This is how bad it was. This is before it actually hit sort of thing.
There was a lot of naughty stuff going on, wasn't there?
Oh, they
My
said that
ex- my ex heard
they were
that.
burying the bodies in some area near the river, and they showed bulldozers and tractors and digging a trench. Yeah, that trench was there 15 years before.
Yeah. I mean, my ex heard one of those WhatsApp things and basically turned around and said, "You can't come and see the kids anymore. We're locking in," sort of thing. And it took me a few days to convince this is crap. You know, this is disproven. It's bullshit. You know, but people take it in.
I remember seeing a video that was floating around. I think it was Instagram and a couple of other platforms. And I'm gonna say the woman had like a Midlands type accent, right? Because I'm. If I say she was a Brummie and she was from the Black Country, which is not racist, people, it's what they call it, right? Right? Barry knows, he knows what I'm talking about, right? Or if you go to somewhere like Wednesbury, but the only exciting thing that's ever happened in Wednesbury is they built an IKEA, right? And so she had that sort of accent, right? Oh, Barry's dropped off.
You've offended the Brummies, he's gone.
I'm sorry, I didn't say you were from the Black Country, I'm sorry. But anyway, this accent, and this video of this young girl was claiming that her cousin had given birth and she wasn't allowed to have the baby back because of a risk of COVID. And I thought, this is sounding a bit shit to me. And at the time, my wife was heavily pregnant, and I thought, I really don't fancy that nurse's chances if they walk out of that delivery room and say, "Oh, by the way, you're not having your kid because you might have COVID," which coincidentally, every time I went in and out that ward, I had a thing stuck in my ear and I had a fucking swab. And I thought, I've literally gone for a pee, love. If the COVID monster's hiding in the toilet at 3 o'clock in the morning, he's doing well. I tell you what, because that should be a mess in that toilet if something's jumped on me at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, shut the stall door and the old COVID monsters jumped on me. But there was a lot of naughtiness like that going about. I mean, I got challenged once, and I was outside the house where we used to live, and I was driving. Oh, did I still have my 4x4? Whatever. Anyway, I pull all the dog kennel out, and I pull all that equipment out, and I hose it down and scrub it, ready for the next job because it gets quite minging. And a guy that lived on the street behind us, and he drove past me most days for 5 years. Never acknowledged me. I give him a wave. I didn't know who he was, but his house was right behind mine. Never. Didn't want to know me. And I'm hosing away, and all I heard was, "Who are you, and how are you still able to go to work?" So I'm fucking holding the hose pipe.
Show me your papers.
I said, "You what?" And he said, "I've been watching you. You are still going to work. Who are you and what do you do?" And I just thought, well, now's the opportunity, Steve, to make a lasting impression. And I turned out, I had a pressure washer and I went, "What do you say, mate?" And then
Nice.
And that was it. And that was the only time I was ever challenged. And I thought, well, I mean, and between in the private industry, private security industry, there was a lot of picking back and forth, various forums. And there was one joke of when they said, "Right, send everybody home who's not essential." And we were all like, "Whoa, who's not essential?" The amount of guys who were trying to work out how to get 2 weeks paid leave was phenomenal. And they said, "Right, the private security sector is not essential. Send them all home." And I just had this vision of somebody in a suit running down the corridors of Whitehall towards Boris going, "No, don't send them home. Who do you think's guarding everything?" Because nobody, if you send all the private security off, nobody's guarding the massive food distribution warehouses. Nobody's guarding power stations, water stations, all this vital infrastructure at the time that really came to light with all the big cracks in our system. Right? You send all them boys and girls home, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, this is it. It's a recipe for disaster.
Woo, there's an opportunity knocks for there. I mean, and I thought, oh, maybe I keep going to work then, hadn't I?
It's the human reaction side of things was the biggest wake up call for my prepping, I would say.
Yes.
And not so much like panic buying and riots in the streets, but just how quickly people will turn on each other, as in that grassing thing. I got an official warning at my workplace because someone snapped a picture of me in a back garden with a bunch of mates. So yeah, and not social distancing. I wouldn't have been able to tell what 6 foot was by that point anyway. But but yeah, someone and I got literally a verbal warning. People were threatened to lose their jobs if they didn't get vaccinated and stuff like that. And
tested.
yeah,
I get tested once a week. Yeah,
got to get tested. Yeah, the schools, the primary schools, were handing out boxes of these antigen tests, these strips. You know, I didn't know if I was pregnant or I had a disease. I couldn't tell. You're not supposed to pee on them apparently, but never mind. But they were handing out these all over the place. People were grassing on each other. No problems at all. And that's what made me think more about how I prep going forward. Barry, the human reaction for you is it change your perspective on how things might happen? We've all got the Hollywood idea of, you know, like 1 second after and you know, fighting off roving gangs with your multiple crossbows at the door like Rambo.
Yeah.
But it's not the reality of it. What does it change how you think about
that? I sort of see what we've been through as a rehearsal for maybe something else that's coming. Sort of like them testing the waters, so to speak. It could get a lot worse, and it could be something completely different. But I don't think it's actually changed my attitude towards it. To be honest, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and we'll deal with it. You know.
But seeing how people reacted through that, is that how you expected them to react, or did you expect worse or better?
To be honest, when it first happened, yes, everybody all falls into line and does, you know, the happy clapping and all this, that, and the other. And then after a certain amount of time, everybody gets bored with it. Then they get angry with it. Then they get frustrated with it. And to be honest,
they start researching it and they find out that most of this crap was staged BS on the news feed.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, with the industry that I work in, it's like we kind of get a heads up if anything's coming our way, and they're all, "Oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to spray this, spray that, clean that, wipe that down, blah blah blah. This is everything you've got to do from now on." And then a couple of weeks later, it's back to business as usual, and everybody's attitude's the same. It makes no difference. Everybody goes from here, panic. Not so bothered, business as usual, and that's what it is.
Head back in the sand.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Steve, the human reaction side of things. Did anything surprise you with that? Are you shocked at how many people were happy to come and do the seal impressions at the front door and stuff like that?
At first, when it was all still in China, there was all the memes and the jokes flying around, wasn't there, about going out for a Chinese takeaway and a guy's in a condom suit and whatever. All had a good giggle because people were like, "Oh, it's over there, won't bother us." And then I thought, well, if everybody's still getting on planes, trains, and automobiles, and something's not right here. And then I sort of put it to the back of my mind, and I went into town, I went into Home Bargains, and there was a lady going around the shop, and she had a big old trolley, and she was piling everything in that said antibacterial and hand sanitizer. She was going for it, and I thought, why is she buying all that? Because to me, it was odd that this stuff had gone, and I was looking for a bottle of hand sanitizer because I keep some in a van. Because if you've ever worked somewhere, a venue where there's lots of people or a big festival, or sometimes as a dog handler, you have to check a dog's intimate areas or whatever. Hand sanitizer is great, right? So I was like, oh, it's strange for the entire shelf. I found her. Then she was piling in the paracetamol. And I thought, sure, you can only buy 2 packets at a time, whatever. Got to the thing, she was a couple of people, and she was going for it. I mean, she was like, woo! She said, "Have you not seen the news? The virus is going to kill us all." And I stood there, and I thought,
the end is nigh. The end is nigh.
Because I was still walking around in my little... Yeah, I was still walking around the shop in my I'm going shopping bubble. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, what the What? Whatever. So I got outside and I'm carrying on, and there's a lot of people suddenly everywhere. My phone's not plugged into everything. I'm getting ping, ping, ping notices, and some people love to get all the notifications. I like my phone on quiet. And then I sort of had a tap around on the phone. I was looking at the news, and I thought, oh, that'll be why everybody's in town like a plague of locusts. We're all gonna die. Right. Well, I still like to have a beer back then, and I went into the shop and went to the beer aisle, not the, paracetamol and hand sanitizer aisle. There was loads of beer in the shop, so I was all right. I didn't really feel like shitting myself. When I watched people's behavior initially getting worse, panic buying, and we had what is now a former friend of the family. They went to the shop. Now, this is a person who was highly educated, went to their local shop, corner shop, and they said, I went in there after work because I wasn't allowed to leave work. There was nothing left on the shelf. There was only a sponge, an ice scraper, and some de-icer. So I bought that. And I said, why? Well, that's what was on the shelf. But why did you buy it? You can't eat it. I mean, and I was really perplexed by this highly educated and highly achieved person that was like, well, it's only on the shelf. You've got to buy what's left. What are you going to eat? The sponge? I said, because I can tell you from personal experience, right? De-icer tastes like shit in a sandwich. And they just, have you been out shopping? Have you got everything? I don't know. I thought now it's time to play dumb now, isn't it? Because if you let them in my kitchen, I'm going to have to pick a window for them to leave or something because they ain't going to go willingly. And then, as Barry said, eventually people were just like, oh, well, this is the new normal, because that was the bloody saying that was in everybody's brain box, wasn't it? And then eventually people just went, oh, do you know what? I've had enough of this. And they just got on with life. I think they just got tired of it. And there it is. And I think businesses started waking up with the amount of times they had to send people home. And even in my industry, guys were at certain places, they were doing daily swabs, weekly PCR tests. I mean, and that's another animal again. And if they tested positive, they were sent home with no pay because they're self-employed. But some businesses where guys and girls on PAYE, this was costing businesses a lot of money to keep sending them home for 2 weeks, then 1 week, and then whatever it went down to, 3 days, 5 days, whatever, this self-isolation. Your business is paying a lot of money. And if you're sending a dozen people home at a time, your business not just losing money, you're not making whatever your business makes productivity. And I think a lot of places just went, I've had enough of this shit now, because if I keep playing by these rules, I'm going to have nothing left.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw that with a lot of businesses. We saw a lot of businesses close.
A lot of people went under. A lot of people lost their dream of having a business on their home. It was just real rough.
Yeah. Mark, what was the human reaction like over there? I mean, I know it'll be vastly different between the city and the country kind of thing, but what kind of things did you see there? Did you have the same, let's all clap for the emergency services?
In the beginning, it was pure cognitive dissonance. What they saw on TV is the truth, therefore I must believe it. And it took a while for I'll say a middle percentage of people to get out of that mindset. And then slowly more would get out of the mindset. But there's still just a ton that are still in the mindset that it can come back at any minute and I'm ready. And this could be the next one, and the next whatever flu is coming out, and N27, H55 or whatever it is. And they keep dwelling on it and thinking that, okay, the end is nigh, the end is nigh, the end is nigh. So they've all bought into this, and a lot of them just won't get out of it. They're stuck in it permanently because they believe so hard everything they were told. And I have a couple family members that are still like that to a point. They'll talk a little more about it, but for the last pre 1.5 years ago, no, they wouldn't talk to you at all. Nope. This is true. This is true. I know it happened. I've seen it. No, you didn't. You saw it on TV. That's where you saw it.
Yeah. Do you think the reaction will be? But do you think the reaction will be different a second time round, or do you think
Yeah.
people will fall in line just the same?
Yeah, I think this time not as many people were going to fall in line. Or, excuse me, fall in line. I think the ones that are already still in line are the ones that are going to go apoplectic. They're just going to go off the charts. See, I told you so type of stuff. And, people are dying again. No, they're not. And I truly think it was some kind of a test on humanity to see how we react to it, how much they can control us. Yeah, I put my tinfoil hat back on. How much they can control us and what it's going to take to get the rest of the people in line or just take them permanently out of the line.
Yeah. It's the human reaction thing. It's a scary thing. Do you think the same over here, Steve? Do you think people will not conform if it happens again?
I think like Chef said, some will, because you'll always have those who will conform to whatever. They just, because for a multitude of reasons, take all day to get it up.
These are the same people that say the BBC is the only non-biased news network in the UK.
According to the BBC.
Listen, I remember having an argument with somebody I was contracting for that said, the migrant thing in Calais, remember the big jungle camp, as they called it, and all this stuff. And there was a big thing, oh, yes, they've cleared it out, blah, blah, blah. But the buggers went around the corner and come back the next day, didn't they? Right? And this person was adamant that they were no longer getting on the lorries and coming across and all the rest of it, right? Absolutely adamant, because the BBC wasn't reporting it, right? And I thought, when this contract's done, I'm done with this person. Do you know what I mean? When you're just getting to the end of the job, you're just like, come on, there's only 6 weeks left, you can do it. This person moved to France, blah, 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 and had to come back over to the UK. Got in a van. Now, vans don't go in the HGV lane. They go in the car lanes, right? They're all backed up in the HGV lanes. There were all sorts going on. So they were moving HGVs into the car lanes because they were so backed up. HGVs get searched by dogs. The soft side, the curtain side get searched by dogs, right? So they would move the dogs or whatever that's like. So she sat in her van. She's got her German Shepherd in the back. And as they're moving these HGVs, these little darlings are coming with them because they're trying to get in the HGVs, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They tried getting in her van with her. Showed me on the phone. I've never been so scared in my life. Next time I'll have the dog on the front seat. And I said, you're telling me they're still in there? They still do that? Well, I said, I haven't seen that on the BBC. I know I haven't seen it either on the BBC. And I went, no shit, you haven't seen it on the BBC, love. You ain't gonna see shit on it. They told you last week they cleared them all out. They can't come back and go, no, they're back again. Whoo, you don't want to go through there, mate. They're gonna do that. So you'll have some who will believe the narrative, and they will. The sheep will grow teeth; they'll die for it. But in the last 5 years, and many other things and more recent stuff, people are waking up in the UK to we're getting lied to on a daily basis on a multitude of topics and levels, degrees of bullshit we're swimming through. I don't think as many people will fall in line, especially when they think back to some of them may have lost their jobs. Lost loved ones, kids losing their education, a big gap of it, and some parents had a real wake-up call to what their kids are getting taught and what they're not getting taught at school. Mm-hmm. So I think there'll be a lot more. No, I'm not having that nonsense again. I think there'll be a lot more pushback. I think there'll be a lot more non-compliance. There might be a bit more protesting, a few more marches maybe, because we're not really into doing the march things in Britain. We've got to be sort of, oh, come on there. We've really got to, something's got to go really wrong in Britain before we get our little placards out, because we've got to take a day off work, haven't we? But I think there'll be
unless you're from a certain political persuasion where most of them don't seem to work, so they have the most successful protests midweek when the extreme right problem of the country is working.
Yeah. So I think there would be a lot more non-compliance. I couldn't see it as violent non-compliance, because don't forget now, if you cast your mind back before all this COVID thing started and they started locking things down, Hong Kong was kicking off like crazy. Mm-hmm. The French Yellow Vest was kicking off like crazy. So and those were two things that were getting a lot of TV and media attention. I don't know about the rest of the world, but those were the two big protest things in my mind, what I remember going on before the whole COVID lockdowns and all that stuff.
A new pandemic would be handy for some governments right now, right?
Hey, you pay attention to what the old comrade Starmer is saying. Digital ID will save us all. You can't get sick if you've got a digital ID. You know.
Oh, yeah.
It's not allowed to come near you if you've got a digital ID.
It comes with a emitting ray that pulses out COVID away from you.
It's like a force field. You can't come near me. I'm legally here.
Yeah, I mean, you touched nicely on the information side of things with the trustworthy BBC. The pandemic was marked by
a service now. BBC fact checker service now. What you're saying?
Fact check everything but themselves. The pandemic was marked by a constant flow of information and misinformation. How did you vet sources and manage information overload? So to not use the BBC, what was the best option then, Steve? Because it was everywhere.
Went to work.
How do you get your information though? How do you get your information at that time?
What did I do? Right. Well, I haven't been a big lover of the BBC for a long time. Right. Not even the BBC radio stuff. And often I would turn it on.
Apart from the BBC radio shows that I was on promoting prepping, of course. That's what you mean. Yeah.
No, I had to listen to them on the internet because I haven't got a TV license either. And I ain't playing that for. I haven't had one for years. I ain't playing that game, mate. And if you're going along on you're going along down the road, and somebody else puts their radio on, because I haven't got a TV license to listen to the radio in my van. Okay, it was like being in combat, and you've managed to grab the enemy's radio. You listen going, this is what's coming down the road. We're all going to get fucked again. So they'd literally telegraph it. So I would sit there. There would be some big YouTube channels, and I'd pick bits out of not the big fear porn, but some of the smaller ones, the guys that were still making stuff with their phone, not 20 grand's worth of 4K cameras and shit, right? And people who were out on the street filming it and whatever. And I wouldn't take it as gospel truth, but I'd be like, right, I've listened to that bit now. That's pro such and such. That's pro something else. All right, let's sit down and let's inject a bit of common sense here. Like, that's crap. And I'm not doing that. And then fuel dropped to nearly £1 a litre, and I got so fucking excited. And I will say this, right? I lived right next door to a farm then, and he used to keep a big tow-along Bowser, 900 or 1,000 litre Bowser. The only time I seen our farmer move that fuel Bowser was when fuel nearly touched £1 a litre. That's gone. He did that somewhere else on the farm. I'm not saying I would have nicked it because he had the round itch, and I had a ball itch back then, so it was no good to me. But I thought to myself, I need to get hold of one of these Bowsers and fill it, because in about 6 weeks that fuel's going to bounce back up to £1.50 again.
And the rest.
Money. So I limited how much I took in. I didn't sit there for hours watching doom porn and the news and stuff, because you'd be in a corner rocking back and forth, waiting for someone to come in with some tablets for you or something. Because it was madness. It was literally just both ends of the spectrum, pendulum shit. Within an hour, it was doing this, and I thought, I've had enough of that. Off. I'm done.
Yeah. Barry, what did you do information-wise with the amount of information and misinformation? I've already mentioned the WhatsApp message that went out that scared the bejesus out of my ex, kind of thing. So what were you doing to deal with the information coming in, and how were you sorting through that?
Taking everything with large doses of salt, to be honest. I mean, obviously, was that a cure for COVID that we didn't know? Well, it should have been, to be honest. It might have helped. Obviously, with where I work, we were getting our information direct from the government. So most of that was getting ignored by sort of like a lot of people there. And then, like I say, a lot of online sources. And as Steve's just said, sifting through everything, identifying what was the obvious blatant bullshit, what got an ounce of truth in it, and what was, kind of 50-50, and making an informed choice that way. That's the only thing he could have done, to be honest, because
Yeah.
there's so much information out there. You just get overloaded. And
did you find any individual like trusted source? Like, I found. Obviously, I didn't have a channel then, so I couldn't help you, Barry. But did you find?
Not that you're bitter about that at all.
Did you find any like trusted source and think, well, somebody's filtering through the shit for me here? So,
I used to find that if you got the same information, or say 99% identical information from vastly different sources, that was possibly more true than listening to your mainstream stuff.
yeah, usually if there's 4 different stories, the truth will lie somewhere where that crossover occurs. If we think of a diagram and where
like
all the circles,
diagram.
all the circles cross in the middle, that's probably something that's going to be like. Chef, what was information like there? Because as much as we joke about our BBC, you guys almost have the extreme of that with completely left-wing news channels and completely right-wing news channels.
CNN, ABC, NBC, all that. They're all left-wing, and they all follow the lead. And so pre-COVID, from like 2014 going forward, my nightly routine after everybody went to bed, I was on a computer and I was on YouTube. And I stumbled on a couple channels that I followed for years. And I now follow them on Rumble because they all got kicked off of YouTube right around 2020. And they were talking about stuff, and they're all different channels. Yeah, shocker. Yeah, the look of shocker. And I was on Twitter for a short time. I got kicked off too, but along with pretty much thousands of other people I was following for similar things. But they all talked about the same, but in a different way. They would dissect what was said on the mainstream media and explain the verbiage that they said this, but if you listen carefully, they didn't say it does do this. They said it can or it might. And there was never a definitive anything from them, from not the YouTube people, but from the mainstream media. And I always followed them anyway, and they slowly came into it, and then they started getting heavy into it. And I was like really glued to my YouTube channel watching this stuff back in the day. And then all of a sudden I turned it on one night, gone, like nothing. The channel was just gone. And then other channels were talking about it that were still allowed to talk. And then they slowly popped up. One guy had his own website, so I just went to his website and watched his videos. And another one started a website, a hosting site for other channels to do the same thing. And those other channels all wound up on his channel because they needed some place to talk about stuff. And if it was just financial or political or whatever, and I continued to just watch. Now they're all back on. I think 3 of them I watched on YouTube. They got their channels back like recently, but they don't go back. They're like, I'm done. YouTube is pointless. They're on Rumble now. I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah. So I joined Rumble just so I could watch your videos there. But that's where I'd listen to the BS on the news. Yeah, I'd throw Fox on because I believed at the time Fox was more right-leaning or centric than the other ones because I already knew that. And but then, slowly they kind of went the same direction. I'm like, yeah, well, we're all being fed BS. And I would just watch all my other channels, and they're all over the country. Some of them are up in Canada. One of them, I think, was in Australia. He got banned. He never came back because I think they kind of eliminated him permanently from the planet. But just what they were talking about, and you start seeing people disappear for what they're talking about, kind of makes you wonder, why didn't they just dispute it and say and debunk it? But they didn't debunk it. They can't debunk it, so they just removed them. And that's kind of what tipped me off on a lot of this stuff, is the fact that the people who were telling the truth and everything else they'd talk about it all came true, or was all truthful stuff, and I could back check it. And as soon as they started talking about that, poof, like a magic trick, they were just gone. And that kind of sparked me in terms of, okay, they were onto something. Now I'm going to dig a little harder, which I think they didn't. The powers that be did not think that would happen. And it did. And it woke up more people than they thought. And now if they try it again, that's what you said earlier. I don't think it's going to be mass hysteria again. You're only going to get mass hysteria from the ones that are still hysterical from 2020.
Yeah. Or a new threat, World War III.
Sure.
And
No,
it's
the UFO threat coming next, which I can call BS on that. But anyway, we're not going to go there.
Atlas. Yeah. That's
yeah.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Atlas.
Oh yeah, you never know. I play the lottery because it only takes one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, last time Steve was on a live, it ended up with talking about portals from aliens that brought Elvis back.
Interdimensional Elvis. It's a real thing. You all need to prep your shit because the kid's coming.
I'll go with that to a point. I have my other theories, but I'm not going to get there in front of people, except for maybe Steve.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but I seem to be all right with it.
Let's get a few comments because I'm quite far behind. My wife's niece was critical in hospital due to C19. They luckily pulled through, but less than 20 years old. Like I said, the effects were real for a lot of people. What do we think maybe the next pandemic? Mpox, SHTF, and then general return of everything. Every little thing that comes out now feels like people almost jump on it, like especially the channels we know are like, this is gonna be bigger than, and it's gone. It's just disappeared.
Waters, aren't they? I mean, just the other week there's 19 cases of Mpox across Europe. I thought there's fucking millions of people across Europe.
Yeah,
more people got a cold, but I think some of it they test the waters to see what we're gonna do. I haven't got tinfoil, right? But I've got my pulling mask, right? So I'm gonna put my pulling mask on, right? What?
You got to change the voice. Okay, everybody, listen up.
There's the last great train robber.
Yeah, I'm looking for a bank that's got cash in it because I haven't got none of these fucking smartphones and digital decoder shit. I want money. Right, I went somewhere then, didn't I? Fucking hell. Time to go home. I think I've been at work too long. I think sometimes they put shit out there to see, to gauge what's going on. And then, because sex lies and videotape, bullshit sells papers, gets clicks on websites or whatever, however the term of phrase is now.
Yeah. Fear sells.
I don't know. Something will come along because just after COVID, they were already banging on. And I remember listening to a podcast. I can't remember what it was. I was listening to one around the shop saying that, and it was about Bill Gates, the doctor of the world, the absolute expert in pharmacology as he is, said, we don't know what the next pandemic's going to be, but we're already working on the cure.
That's it.
And I thought, shit, that's nice of you. While you're there, can you just take a minute on your lunch break to deal with AIDS, HIV, leukemia in children, any of them things, Bill? Because you've already got the cure for the next global pandemic.
The man who has enough money to solve global hunger 3 times over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. We're going to give you.
And I remember listening to it, and I thought, here we go. The fucking bullshit is grinding up again. Here we go. We changed the batteries in the hamster, and let's get the wheel grinding out again. So I thought, oh, Bill.
Anyway, Snapdragon, we went camping.
It's in this tea. Got me right fucking wound up this tea, has
the rules and of the rules, we were allowed a 10-minute shower slot per pitch. Yeah, right. Yeah, some of our ridiculous COVID rules. People would just see. The problem was the message from the government was that clear. Like I just mentioned, I'm not going to try to do the Boris thing again. I think I did it right the first time.
You probably practiced for a good half hour before you came on.
But we would as a business. There was so many rules that it was just like, I'm just going to have to make this up. It's like I helped out. So I managed a football team, but I was also on the board for the team, and I helped out in the bar and stuff like that. And at one point, the players could still come in the bar afterwards, not the public, but the players, and have a drink and stuff after the match. And we had to put perspex up, and the perspex had the holes drilled through, and it just wasn't done right. So to the point where I was pouring a pint. They could put the money through the slot, and I'd have to walk around the side of the perspex and pass them the pint.
Yeah, thank you, plexiglass, for protecting me from the cashier who just touched everything in my cart.
Do you know what, right? So you're saying about the mask thing. It's just fucking hit me. And I did this on purpose, right? So you got your mask on. Right, got your mask on. Right? And you stood there at the counter. And you're like this. You're going, and they look at you, they go, "You say that again?" Well, let me take that off. I can't hear you. The other side, they go, "Oh, I know I can't hear people with this thing on. That's £9.50, please, love." All right, cheers.
Handy.
I think more people didn't pay attention to it. They just tried to play along because they didn't want to get in trouble.
And this is where you saw the masks going from this to this.
Oh yeah.
Or what did you blah 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 blah. Yeah.
I had to go into a nursing home with my job to repair a piece of equipment, and I called the maintenance guy and said, "I got everything," because we were looking for it. I got everything. I wasn't their normal person. He said, "All right, you got to go to the front desk. So I'll meet you up there." I'm like, "All right," talk up to the front desk. First word out of the woman's mouth sitting behind the little counter with a little tiny piece of plexiglass is, "Are you vaccinated?" I was like, "Nope." Man, she lost her mind. And then the administrator pokes. I'm holding a box of parts, and the maintenance guy knew, right? Because I told him ahead of time. I was like, "Dude, I'm not jabbed." He's like, "I know." He's like, "We'll figure it out." I'm like, "Whatever." So I go in there. Meanwhile, people were just walking through the front door, walking right past me to go visit their parents or whatever. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You're asking me if I'm jabbed, and all these people just go walking right by. Well, they're family members. I'm like, okay. So do I need a family member here? And the administrator poked her head out of the office. She's like, "What are you here for?" I said, "Do you want this piece of equipment fixed and running or not?" And she went, "Let him in." I'm like, yeah, there go those rules right out the fucking window. Oh, wait, did I say that? Sorry. Yeah, I just kind of shot the woman behind the desk a look through her little tiny piece of plexiglass. I wanted to stick my tongue out at her and flip her off, but I'm wearing my company uniform, probably a bad idea.
And funnily enough, only this week, I've sold 2 of these hoodies that say unvaccinated. Be proud.
We have ones over here that say pure blood and proud of it.
I like it.
It was bonkers. Don't get me wrong. Some of COVID affected people directly, and people passed away and they lost loved ones. And I was saying from the comments earlier about long COVID. I mean, we're not mocking that. What we're mocking and well, sometimes ashamed of various governments' behaved and local governments and whatnot was some of the insane measures. And some folks were playing by them for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. They played by them. And some were forced to get the old arm ticket, and some were still testing positive. And there's a bunch of theories and stuff with that as well. That's another animal entirely. But holy shit, it was mind blowing for a lot of it. It was some of it. I thought this can't go on like this. Is madness, absolute madness. Some of it, and like you said, to try and weave your way through the labyrinth of the supposed rules was phenomenal. And then when you had the different devolved governments saying different things, and you sat there, right? Do I do what the Senedd in Cardiff Bay tells me, or do I listen to what Westminster's telling me? I know I'll treat you all equally well. You can all f off. Was just wow. I felt really bad for those who had to comply, exactly by these things to keep their job. I really felt bad for those folks because some of them were against it, but they had no choice because
there was a lot of that
line of work or another job lined up to go to, so they had no choice. Some of them.
People didn't realize as well what was legal and what was advice. And the police didn't have a clue.
Well, when some of them were getting pinged, what's his name? Sunak and a couple of others were like, "Well, hang on, you're doing this, but just last week you stood there in Commons and told the country they're not allowed to do it." "Oh, no. That's not legally binding. That was a strong suggestion." No shit, Ed. You stood there in front of the entire country and said, "You are not allowed to do this, but I am."
Yeah.
And I think that's when it really started falling apart. Of, oh wait, you don't give me that crap. Don't give me this. Oh, it was strongly suggested. No, you stood there as a leader of a country and said you're not allowed. But you can't get any clearer than that, can you?
Yeah,
It
definitely.
was fucking madness. It create like don't. What's that say? Rules for thee and not for me.
Well, I mean, yeah, we just need to talk about Partygate, right?
And don't forget the Scots egg. If it's a substantial meal. So a pie and a pint. You can't go down the pub because it's closed. But if that one's open, you can have a pie and a pint. Right. But you said I'm not allowed in the pub. Oh, but it's a substantial meal. But I'm not allowed in the fucking pub unless I downloaded the app to order my food.
You can download the app, order your food. If you need to get up to the toilet, make sure you put this on before you stand up and go to the toilet, come back, and then you can sit down. You can take it off then. It's fine after that. And don't forget to open your windows at home to let COVID out.
Yeah, and I didn't.
It's fucking lodging now. It's paying rent apparently. So
COVID was that clever. It could have opened a window itself. But did you see anybody trying to keep their restaurant open by sawing the table in half because it wasn't? You weren't 6 foot away or 2 meters from somebody. We'll have to stick a saw straight down the table and shove it 6 foot away.
I loved it, Steve. It turned the local town centre into what looked like Prague or Spain. All the cafes had tables outside. It was al fresco dining, which is great if you're not in the middle of winter in Britain.
Oh, they did that here in the States. They've, aside from and I wish I had bought stock in plexiglass, because every restaurant had plexiglass. All these restaurants that had parking lots put up those circus tents, the big, thick white ones that they use for like outdoor weddings and stuff. They had heaters in there. So you couldn't dine indoors, but now you're inside a tent in the wintertime with the doors, with the flaps shut, with the heater going, and you're still breathing everybody else's air. But don't worry, you're in your parking spot. You're okay.
You'll catch it in the big airy room that we used to eat in, but now we've put you in an incubator outside and are warming it.
Yeah, and now
you'll be fine.
You could buy those tents cheap because nobody's using them anymore. They bought them. They couldn't. Nobody would rent them to. It's like, you want one, you're buying it because we don't know when this is going to be over. So the companies making the tents made bank. The companies selling the tents that used to rent them, now they're selling them. They made bank, and now the restaurants are stuck with them. Also, I don't want the tent. I want the poles, because those make some wicked greenhouses.
I will say one thing. I'll say one thing for the madness that was COVID, right? I remember coming out of Booker's, and I had all my shit, and there was I saw a guy I knew, and he had just a normal cleaning business, and it was just him, just cracking on, just household cleaning, just a cleaner, right? And I said, how are you doing? Because he had a brand spanking new van, not the thing that Zach Dingle would have been proud driving, right? And I can't say much because my first van was an LDV Pilot, right? And that thing sounded like thunder coming down the road, but it was rotten to shit. And I said, how are you doing, Jack? And he said, you know what? He said, this COVID thing, Steve, it's just the best thing I've ever invented. I said, do what? And he said, look. And he said, Ebud, brand new van, sign written, COVID cleaning specialists. Within 6 months, he now had 12 staff and 12 spanking new vans. He said, so much work. He said, I've got to turn it down. He said, just me before. He said, I was doing insane mileage, insane hours. I'm barely breaking even. He said, COVID's come along. I said, well, what are you doing to be a COVID cleaning specialist? He went,
nothing different.
More bleach. He said, just smells stronger. I said, don't take the piss. He said, I'm serious. He said, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm wearing a paper condom suit, a mask, and big heavy gloves. He said, and an old hood, so he walks in your house like this, right? Like he's going to fucking rob it. Oh, look, I'm coming to clean the carpets. What? Can't hear you. Yeah, carpets, right? He said, my phone's ringing off the hook. He said, I've got to turn down work this so much. And I thought, I'm looking at my old van thinking, well, I might have a fucking idea here. That was the only person I saw that was actually happy about COVID. Because
there was lots of people happy about it that I knew. I knew somebody who was in the PPE game before it all kicked off, and he made an absolute killing. Probably put it all on black at the casino and lost it all, but you know.
It was insane. Absolutely. That COVID stuff, crazy. The labyrinth of contradictory rules was insane. And I never saw anybody or met anyone who got a fine for not wearing masks or standing too close to people in the shop. I never met anyone. I never heard anyone talking about it in the shop.
No, but they showed it on the news. Don't get arrested. Wear your mask. And they show people getting marched into a police station. Okay.
Yeah. So therefore, stock footage from 1999.
That's right.
It's like you couldn't catch Billy Savile for 30 years, but they're going to nail you to the wall for not wearing your mask in Tesco.
Yeah. We had 2 officers come into the pub after they just reopened them, and obviously football team. So you can imagine the diverse set of lads that you've got when you've got 15 lads from a male football team in the UK. And they came in and they're looking around and looked over at us, and we're all just gathered around one table, beers and everything everywhere, sort of thing. No masks on. We went, you've got to be from the same household. And we just went, we are. We all live together. And they looked at us and they knew we knew we were lying. They knew we were lying, but there was nothing anyone could do about the situation.
They say, so can we move in with you temporarily?
We're all family. This is my brother, Akbungado. Anyway, I've got a couple last points before we close up for the evening. If you could go back to before the pandemic and prep one thing knowing it was coming, what would it be and why? Barry.
That's a tough one. Do you know what? I'm going to say, wish I'd got extra fuel for the motor, because even though I got a bit stocked, the way things were and the job that I was in, I knew we could still get fuel. But if I'd have lost that job, I couldn't have got fuel. And then that would have been a problem. So extra fuel. Fuel stores. Cool. Yeah.
Steve, same question.
I was all right for fuel because I was in multiple locations, different job sites. I was all right for fuel. I would say tinned food, not because I was running out. And as I said to the wife, if I can I'm still going to go to the shops like normal, because if we haven't got to dip into what we've got put away, I'm not going to dip into what we've got put away, because it's still available. But what I saw in the shops was either it was, and I would call it rationing, because they said, you can't buy any more than 3 tins of beans or 3 packets of rice or whatever, right? There was limits on it. So it would be tinned food. We weren't short, but whereas I would normally go out and go, right, we'll get 3 of them, and I'll put 3, in the cupboard under the stairs. And we didn't run short, but I would have felt better, psychologically felt better, if I had more of the basic stuff. Your tins of beans, tins of veg, whatever. I had loads of toilet roll before it all started, because buy one get one free was in Booker's, and I was in there like I was getting paid for robbing a joint. But I should have. Hindsight's great, because it's 2020 vision and it's free. I should have moved towards more staple tinned foods.
Excellent, and it's a good lesson for prepping for the future, definitely. Same question to you, Mark. If you could go back and have one thing prepped beforehand, what would it be and why?
If I knew it was coming, if that's the presumption of the question, if I knew this was coming, what would I do? Basically, what would I do differently?
Yeah.
I'd open up a small storefront and bought every freaking N95 mask and gloves I could find.
What I mean,
keep it in the day, stockpile the hell out of it, and wait for COVID to hit, and then open the doors. That way, the government can't come in and say, you bought this stuff ahead. You bought it during COVID and nobody else has. It's like, no, I bought all this stuff a year and a half ago. I was starting to open a store. COVID hit, and I'm like, screw it. I'm doing mail order. and made bank and probably bought stock in the same companies. And I wouldn't have to be really I'd be sitting on my property all by myself right now with no worries in the world.
There you go. It's a good answer. It's a good answer. Cool.
What about you, Mike? What would have you done?
What would I have done?
We started a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I would have started a channel sooner.
And he would have called me. I would have given him discount codes for masks and gloves.
I mean, I don't think I would have prepped anything quite as differently. Potentially, I would have been looking for the off-grid move sooner. This has only been a plan that's come into place in the last 3 or 4 months sort of thing. And maybe if I could go back with knowledge of all the stuff then and stuff now, I would have probably tried to make that move sooner. But that's the only thing. I don't think I would have prepped any physical items any differently than I already did. Very last one then. Mental side of it. How did you mentally cope with uncertainty, isolation, and constant change? And is there any techniques that you used, or were you isolated for any length of time, etc.? Start with you, Mark, if that's all right.
Sure. So when it first started to hit, and my company pretty much said, you're not going anywhere unless we tell you to, so you will work from home. And my job was not a work from home job. So we just logged on a computer and watched videos all day. And yeah, for a little bit there, it was kind of as watching everything fall apart, and I knew it was coming in that. Yeah, I kind of upped my drinking game a little bit for a while. Then I back off of it because it was not helping me at all. And but it was I was just trying to stay informed. Unfortunately, it led to arguments with other people. Yeah. And that's where I wound up getting kicked off of Twitter and whatever else I was on at the time, and friends and family. I just stopped going on Facebook because it wasn't even worth my time anymore. And that was a tough one to be stuck at home. My wife still had to go to work every day, so it was just me and the dogs. And eventually after I got out of my little rut after about 6 months and it was still going, now I'm out in the yard doing stuff. I did my gardens. I added 2 more raised beds because I could still go to Lowe's. Couldn't buy seeds, but I could buy lumber. So I went in there and loaded up with the 2x12s and brought them all home, made 2 more big, long raised beds and PVC pipe and made trellis work and that. And I had a hell of a garden in 2020. I had a big garden in 2020, but 2021 was like a bumper season for me because I had all the time in the world to go out there and just focus my attention. And then I bought the property and I did other stuff. So everybody's going to have a different issue depending on where geographically you're located. And if you're stuck in the city, you really ain't going anywhere. I'm not in the city here. I'm in the burbs. Yeah. So I could go outside. I could do whatever I wanted. And the neighbors didn't care. Most of my neighbors were on the same page anyway with me. So we'd be out in the street hanging out, talking over the fence without a piece of plexiglass between us, making fun of the plexiglass. But yeah, psychologically, it was tough in the beginning because you were stuck with what the masses were doing and you couldn't go around it. And then it slowly subsided out. So I was able to do more and more and more. And then everybody else, once one person starts doing something that, maybe we shouldn't be doing that, but they start doing it, people are like, well, he's doing it. Why don't I do it? So everybody started doing other stuff. And I talked to a lot of people about gardens, canning. I mean, I didn't do it on YouTube. I was just talking to people. And I trained a couple people on how to a home preserve. Went over to their house, brought one of my canners. They went and bought one and then went shortage, but I taught them stuff. And they still do it today. But it was tough in the beginning. And it was a hard rut to get out of. But once you get out of it and realize whatever you think is going on, it helped a lot and brought my mindset back. So my prepping mindset never really changed because I was always a prepper anyway, even since I was like 12. And it didn't really change. I didn't really have to up my game because I always had pretty much whatever we were needing if something happened. I mean, I'm not going to go right down the list of all the things that can happen, but just in general. Yeah.
Steve, Sam, the mental side of things. Sorry.
In reality, I was all right because I could still go out to work. Well, like I said, the big thing that upset me at the time was they shut the bloody gym, because I could still go and buy beer at the shop. That was when I did drink beer. I've been dry now for about 4 years. It'll be 4 years in January, but I could see people who were suffering, playing totally by the rules. They couldn't go and give their parents a hug, or their kids, little kids, like
Mhm.
5 and 6 years old, couldn't give granddad a cuddle, which they did every night of the week after school and stuff, or every weekend. And some of the folks, some of the elderly people who just literally stayed in their house and didn't leave. And I thought, some of these, and then when I was on another contract, and you would think wouldn't touch these people mentally, incredibly wealthy people, but their businesses were going under because even though their restaurants or bunch of restaurants or different franchises and all these things, they were shut, and the government's going, oh, here's an 80% paycheck. They were still getting billed by the buildings they were renting. So we all thought, people were seeing, oh, yes, here's 80%, put our arms around everybody, here's 80% of your paycheck. And some people were having a great time in the backyard. They spent their 80% paycheck on B&Q for their new garden furniture and all this shit. But your boss was still having to pay business rates and the utilities and everything on that big building that you work in. So some of these folks, you think it wouldn't have touched them. It really was. And one or two clients, they had people coming to their house saying, have I got a job after this? Because you've just shut that place down.
Yeah.
And I thought, hang on a minute, these people are coming around to the owner's house. One, how the heck did you find out where he lives? And two, is this now going to become a thing? Should I expect people queuing up around the block to have a go at him? So in reality, I was doing all right because I could still work. But I was seeing things on a face-to-face level where some folks were going downhill really, really badly.
Yeah.
And I thought, apart from the COVID virus, I thought the mental side of this, I think, was going to keep tripping on for quite some time. And some folks, they really suffered. To the, they had to go see professionals and end up with medication and all sorts of stuff. Some folks really messed their head up. And I noticed a lot. I don't know if it was just a Hollywood crap because they're locked in the house for 2 weeks together. The amount of divorce rates, and sometimes, and again, I make light of that, getting stuck in your house with your wife for 2 weeks. But some people, in all seriousness, the amount of phone calls to the old bill of abuse and violence between partners, they eventually come out on the TV, went upwards. And I thought
massively, yeah,
because when the pressure's on, everyone's true colors come out when the pressure's on. The dark side of us, our real personalities, if we try, some folks do it on purpose to hide it. It really comes out when the pressure's on. And I think for some folks, COVID was ugly.
And many people's relationships have always been like they're at work, like 12 hours of the day and stuff like that, and they see each other in the evening and stuff like that. So suddenly to be under each other's feet for that length of time is a test for anyone.
I'm glad I kept working because my wife would have buried me up the back garden. I'm telling you, we've been together nearly 20 years because I'm away half of the month.
The secret to a happy marriage
is don't fucking be in the house. Don't get it. Listen, when I do a week on, week off, and I'm telling you, by day 6, my wife she got a calendar. She's clicking the hours off, mate. Get back to work because you do my editing. But in reality, for some folks, the mental side of it was incredibly horrible for them.
Yeah, definitely. Barry, how did you cope with that side of things? Did you have any ways of, or did it affect you at all?
Well, being key workers, we'd got to go into work anyhow. The hardest time
key workers, like essential services and the local kebab shops, them key services.
Kind of.
He was a food vendor and he had a fridge in the back. You leave him alone, he could fly.
Can't have kebabs now. It turns out they give me migraines. There's something in them. There's a chemical in them. I can't have them.
It's called shit food. That's the chemical.
Who knows? Who knew? I used to love
Slow
it.
down. Kebabs are all right on keto. It's got meat.
Yeah, used to love a kebab. No, being a key worker, obviously having to go into work, the hardest point for me in the entire COVID debacle was having to be isolated away from the wife for the week while waiting for results to come back. Because I mean, I wasn't isolated local, like, right, you've got to go and you've got to stay in that room or in that house. No, I was like 20 odd miles away, put up in a hotel for a week, couldn't leave that hotel room until my direct manager phoned me up and said, right, you've had the all clear, you can come back to work on such and such day. That was the hardest time for me.
Yeah,
definitely.
Other
than that, great, because I don't like being around people.
I mean, I'll share mine. It would have been, it would have been great for the channel at the time had I got premium sympathies, but it's the past now, so I'm fine before I explain it. But this is over a 3-day period, right? And the this is lockdown. The day before lockdown, I found out I had alopecia by my hair getting cut because everyone was shaving their heads at that point. And I found nothing but loads of patches there. So it was like they instantly found out I had alopecia. The day after that, my relationship ended and I had to leave the family home. And then the day after that, lockdown started. That was a 3-day period. So the mental side of things was like, I didn't just have a breakup to deal with. I had a breakup to deal with and all the pubs were closed and you couldn't go and see your mates and you couldn't do this and you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And
so it's not just this year. You've always had shit luck.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much, Steve. But no, I have good luck as well. But yeah, it's yeah. But no, it's so you go into lockdown and like if you're going through a breakup, going out with your mates for a drink is a way to get over it, sort of thing. I mean, the old saying was to get over someone, get under someone, you know. But it was that kind of thing, and I just had none of that, and it was just me, like on my own in a new house that a friend who was locked down in Greece with her family. It was her empty home because she couldn't come back to it. So luckily I was sorted for a place to live, but I was just like unreal mental stress for that. I started going through a bottle of wine a day for a good 4 or 5 weeks. After 3 weeks, I got myself a VR headset. My birthday was me sat in boxer shorts with a VR headset on and a bottle of wine with a giant straw in it.
Don't tell Brian.
All we know is that you needed a VPN to access it, right? That'll do.
No. I was just playing poker with people from all over the world, but the sight from outside must have been an absolute horrendous state, like to the point where you're drinking red wine out of a bottle with a giant straw. That's the level I got to with the mental side of things. In the end, coping was very much the same as Chef Tech and Mark. So it was like, once I started to think, right, I can do stuff, I can achieve stuff, I'm going to start building things. It was keeping active and busy that was the cure in the end. But yeah, it was a fun time. So yeah, that was my story. And end on cheery note, and I'll let you know. No, it's been good to see everyone else's stories coming out as well in the chats. It really does help. I hope people have had some insight in it. It's interesting that so many people have forgot of how it was and have forgotten about shortages, forgot about queuing, forgot about limitations on fuel, forgot about limitations on movement, and gone back to burying their heads in the sand. Please don't do that.
No, they didn't forget. Here's the actual term: repressed memory. Nobody wants to remember it because it was so god awful. We just don't talk about it. We're talking about it, but nobody talks about it anymore. You go in anywhere now, it's like literally, unless it's like the little old lady wearing a mask, and then 4 people on the other side of the aisle are going like, I can't believe she's still wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But she's talking about it with her friends or he, but the rest of us, no, nobody wants to talk about it because nobody wants to remember such a bad time.
But if we forget about history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Exactly.
Right?
Which is why we have Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you to my panel tonight. We've got 119 people still in here. We're streaming also on Barry's channel on Brown Coat Prepper UK. So if you haven't been there, please go and check him out. Like and subscribe and all that. Barry, just tell them a bit about your channel and your cool t-shirt.
There you go. Right, so Brown Coat Prepper UK, it's basically prepping from a novice perspective. There hasn't been a lot of content go up there lately because, like Mike, there are other plans afoot as well. More to be revealed next year. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, big stories to come. So be the early subscriber now.
Yeah.
Chef, do you want to tell them about your channel?
No. Sure, it's not really big. I mean, I got my Chef Tech channel. I got a couple videos up, little shorts and that, just random cooking stuff. I did a couple lives with Gil at Gray Man Prepping on freeze drying. I think I have one up there. I like doing it about freeze drying raw eggs, but it's just I used my iPhone, my Apple movie maker thing to do it, and it was pretty cool. And but nothing really right now. I was just about to start to get into it. My Mad Chick Acres channel is meant for the property. I probably have about 4,000 hours of footage done with my GoPros on my tractor and building the cabin and that. I just haven't really wanted to put it out there quite yet, just because it's my
not enough. You're waiting for more.
I'm not waiting for more footage. Every time I go out there, I just mount the camera on a tractor. I caught myself one night at home after I came back from the cabin. I'm like, okay, let me upload this to my my external drives. And I started watching one. I literally sat there for 2 hours watching myself on a tractor pushing trees down in a field. No talking. When I was done, I was like, wow, I guess this is what some people just like to do, because I do the same thing. I watch other people, no talking, just doing something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I got something here, I guess, but I just haven't gotten the urge to, well, maybe I just haven't been sitting at home for years on end with nothing else to do because of some virus going around where I'm not allowed to leave the house to
saving it all for the next pandemic.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm going to save it for the next flu that comes out. So I got something to do while I'm home, and I don't have to go out to the liquor stores often.
Cool. Awesome. So Miss Worm's posting all the channels there in the chat as well. So if you can go over and show all them some love, subscribe and all that. Steve, you've nothing to promote. So, I mean, do you want to pretend to be Brian? There you go. That's sorted. I'm not going to promote this channel.
Get on the
Get
Discord.
yourself a solar generator.
Yeah.
Buy a solar generator.
It's downstairs charging up. I would say if you can jump on the Discord, it's free. I was new to it when I downloaded it. I thought it was for like kids who play computer games and whatever. But it's not. So color me educated. But we have a great time on there, and the people on Discord, we're not all experts at everything. Oh, Barry's had enough. He's gone. There's the folks who got on Discord. There's just over 400 people on that Discord group now. I think it is just over 400, and we're all walks of life, all ages, all stages in life, and different relationships. Some got kids, some haven't. Some got dogs, some haven't. Different cars. We're all at different stages on our preparedness journey. So there's some folks who've been doing it for decades, and some are literally just bought their first tin of beans. And we're all learning from each other. It's sometimes a very serious. Sometimes we're all having a good laugh and a joke and ripping a piss out of each other, because
usually me.
We do. Usually Mike. And the hashtag Brian made me do it is incredibly popular. We have a good old time in there, and we still are, and we learn, and it's what it's meant to be, basically. And there's no there's no you're no good because you don't know about this. How come the blah 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 blah? I'm better than you because
we stamp that out. Yeah, we stamp that out.
We don't do that shite, because there shouldn't be any shaming of someone who earns less than you, and so therefore they haven't got this, and this. That's what we got folks in there that have got sizable budgets, and some folks that have, we've got very small budgets. We're there to help each other and lift each other up, not ridicule and talk down to people that are just learning. We don't do that shit. We don't have that. It takes a lot to get kicked off Discord. It does take a lot to get kicked off.
There's been very few. There's been very few. Usually, the benchmark is don't piss Brian off.
Yeah, don't. I think we're up to 4 in 12 months, which is so that means we've pretty relaxed on what goes on, but we do have a good giggle.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Steve. That was awesome promotion. I need to
I don't want
that
no YouTube channel. I'd be in some gulag if I was on there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to promote. Sorry, go on.
There's a great thread on the on your Discord for memes. You want memes to send to your friends? Just join and go to the meme page. You can copy paste every one of them, send it to your friend. I've dumped a bunch on there. I've stolen all of them.
There you go. So there's benefits to everyone. I'm not going to promote the channel. You're already on here. All my links are below. I will mention these, which are the USB drives with 15,000 PDFs of survival, prepping, stuff like that. Open source material. You can get it. You can do it all yourself. I put these up for £15 on the site. 56 have sold. 2 have sold during this stream. I'm going to have a lot of work to do. So tomorrow, I am turning it off on the shop. So tonight and tomorrow morning is your last chance to order them. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till the next wave, because I'm going to have to train Mrs. Urban Prepper how to duplicate these, because she's going to be working as well. So, but don't worry, I will test them all. Both in phones and devices. So the red 64s are literally going to be stopping selling around lunchtime tomorrow. So it's your last chance in the first wave. Thank you to all my guests tonight. It's been absolutely awesome. It's been a really great discussion, despite it being an old topic, as it were. I'm sure we've all learned something, if not about prepping, about each other. Especially about Steve. Yeah, put the mask on for the outro. There we go.
I know where you live, Mush. I know where you live, mate, right?
Hey, stop copying me. Stop copying me. That's my raccoon mask you're wearing.
Sorry. Is that better?
Much better. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Big thank you to Miss Worm and Evil Girl, our awesome moderators. Miss Worm has a channel as well, which she hopefully posted the link for in the comments. So go and check that out as well if you want a break from prepping. It's just some great stories and stuff like that, and updated regular. So go and show some love over there to our published author and chief mod, Miss Worm. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
See you later.
At the Prepper's fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night.